love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, depends on where you're watching. Today we're doing something different again, which reminds me that I need to change the upper overlay. There it is, so much better, because today we're not going to make a regular flight as we usually do with an airliner. I've already done this once using the MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter and making a very nice one stream with the Black Hawk doing some firefighting with the Bambi bucket. Today we're going to bombard the fire with this amazing CL-415 Canadair, better known as the Canadair CL-415 or the Super Scooper. That's its nickname. And so this is a first, I think, in terms of combining the wonderful Miltech Mission Creator and this particularly interesting aircraft. The Canadair is, as you know, one of the most used, the most prevalent airplane for forest fires. This is the 415, so this is the turboprop version of this venerable aircraft, and it's been flying all over the world, but in Portugal we have been not so fortunate to have that many flying for us, unfortunately. I'm not going to go politics on this, but yeah, some governments purchase these aircraft. The Portuguese government decided to rent these, and well, that's why we have a Spanish license on this particular plane. This is a livery of a real-life aircraft combating fires in Portugal in the last few years. But as you can see, it's a Spanish license because this is rented to a third-party company, so it's not owned by the Portuguese state, although they will do this. I will show you. Oh, not this. They will put the Portuguese flag on it as if we own it. And, well, yeah, we don't own these aircraft. And the major giveaway is, of course, excuse me for all these digits here. I'll explain what that is in a moment. This is a Spanish license. This is a livery that I found on Flight Sim.to. The Flight Simulator 2024 has this plane by default in the premium edition at least, but it does not have the Portuguese livery. Sorry, ma'am. So today we are taking this amazing aircraft. I'm not going to waste much time. Just going to start clearing everything. performing the walk around, examining all the control surfaces. Gonna kick the tire here. Check the struts. Remove the pin. Remove the propeller pin as well. Let's carry on to the engine cover. Right over there. Removed. Now let's go for the front tire. Checking the strut. Strut looks okay. Front tires look both okay. Remove the static covers. Done. Over this side, the engine has been, the cover has been removed already. P2 cover has been removed. Aileron looks good. Same with the flap. Let's kick this tire as well. Good. Right strut. Good. Now let's check the elevator. The rudder itself. All right, looks cool. All doors seem closed. The scoop door, the scoop is right there. The doors are closed. Let's remove the chocks while we're here. Just gonna walk around here. So yeah, let's go inside the aircraft itself. We'll do an inside inspection as well. Here we are. So let's go to the back of the airplane. All right, so these are the two main tanks. They're both empty. And everything looks secure. Doors shut, rear door is shut. This I believe is a life rack. A what is it called? Rescue boat, if you want. Hello, Dinesh. Hello, Jose. Sorry, I was not looking down to the chat. So just checking in to see if everything is fine and dandy. And none of this is interactive, so we just assume it is. All right, let's go back to the cockpit. We'll just press and we're zoomed in inside the cockpit. Or better yet, let's reset the camera. All right. So here we are in the CL-415. As you can see, this is a mix. It's both a relic of the old days. It's a very basic aircraft, almost general aviation in terms of avionics. We don't have much in terms of navigation. We mostly fly this plane with basic IFR and VFR. Hello, Andrew. Hi. And in order to start this thing up, we need, of course, both batteries on. So we got left battery powered, and let's check the left. Right battery. So we got power on both batteries. All right. So let's first of all let's give some light around. It's just not the floodlights. And let's see if I remember this correct. So fasten seat belts. No smoke. We don't have passengers, but this comes from the old age. I believe this airplane is based on the civilian aircraft. I'm not entirely sure. Civilian passenger aircraft. So let's turn on both inverters for now. Anti-collision nav, fuel pressure. Not landing lights for now. And now we're just gonna bring up the tanks. So we got this is intakes, so let's just keep it. This is ice protection, so let's just put it on normal for now. Everything's turned off, of course, for now. Both generators are both off because we need to start the engines, and this is exactly what we do. So we're going to start with ignition A, and we're going to make a left engine start, starting now. So this is a pretty basic airplane in terms of startup. We just set our condition levers to ground idle. Just wait for the the boosters to come up. There they are. Just verify the systems, make sure that there's no overheat. Here they come. So engine 1 started. Let's start number 2. So let's move this to the right and start. And now we can almost see it turn. There they go. Of course, the co-pilot will be handling that. So it's turning freely. We just wait for the torque to come to close to 20%, and then we move the condition levers. Forgot to put this on feather. We'll move the condition levers up forward. This is a big surface lock, so this prevents me from engaging the throttle while it's on the parking position. There's a lot of stuff I won't go into details because the idea is not to learn how to fly this plane. This is not a case study aircraft, so there's a lot of features that I'm not even familiar on how they work. So we'll just fly manual all the way. There is an autopilot, but we'll fly manual. We'll just concentrate on the scooping. All right, both engines have started. We go turn on both generators here. All right, and now we should have stuff coming to life, including the standby should come any moment. And just move the condition levers forward. Here is the standby and ADI. And look at, just listen to that sound. Let's go outside just to listen to this amazing sound. Amazing. Now let's carry on with the rest. So now we're going to taxi out. So first of all, let me show you the flight path. It's important for this stream, of course. So the route is loaded. For some reason, this map takes an awful lot of time to load itself. Let's just move around until it finally shows up. Yeah. There it is. So we need to just mess with the menu and then it will eventually show up. So we'll take off. The fires are somewhere in waypoint 6. So we'll just depart, make our left-hand circuit, just like any other regular aircraft. And we got waypoint 4. That's one of the major cities as a reference. And then we got waypoint 5. That's where we're going to scoop our water. Our waypoint 6 as the fire. Waypoint 7 is the escape path, and also there's a small body of water. Not as good as the first one, but just in case we need to ditch. There are no airfields around here to land, so we'll just use it as a emergency landing pad, as well as waypoint 5. Both can be used. 7 is a bit tight. 5 is the ideal. If we can't reach 5, we can get to 7. If, of course, we need to come back to base, this is our airfield. Castelo Branco airfield is where we'll be departing and landing. So the fires is a big front up in the mountain. Anybody from this region, maybe Denise can tell us. Yes, waypoint 5, Barragem da Maroteca Dam, thank you. But waypoint 5 is a mountainous area, so it's a big hill. Maybe you can tell me where this hill is. I just created this mission on the amazing. Actually, we can take a look at this mission so you guys can see how I created. So this is it. So this is the Serra of Gardonha. All right, and the first city is Alcaíns. Then the barragem of Marateca, Albufeira da Marateca, and there's another one, Albufeira do Pisco. Barragem do Pisco. So this is a dam. This is another dam, and as you can see, the dams allow us to have these big bodies of water that will enable us to refill our water while we're going to our fire over there. As you can see, if the fire is being detected in a line, so that will help us quite a lot. We'll make our firefighting from east to west or west to east, depending on the conditions we find. First thing we need to do, of course, is go in and perform a scouting. So we'll scout around to see what obstacles we have, what dangers we might have. Remember, this plane does not really need to fly low, but because we're dropping water, we need to make sure the water reaches. So we can't fly that high, drop the water, and expect it to drop in above the fire. They might even not get there. They might dissipate or even turn into what's the word? I know the word in Portuguese. Turn into mist before it reaches the ground. All right. Well, before we're ready, we'll remove the surface lock, of course, because we need to fly. We'll turn on our system here. And you can barely see it, but there's some green ready lights that indicates that the system is ready. Let's just make let's go over it. Let's make a small walk around the systems to see if I forgot anything. Nope, it's just the landing lights and taxi lights. So everything looks fine. We are good to go. We can set both ignition to norm. This will enable us to restart, relight the engines if they go out. These are all test switches. We don't need to perform any tests. So yeah, there are two things you need to pay attention while you'll see me flying. One is this plane is very slow in all aspects of flight. So it's slow to climb, slow to turn, slow to do whatever it needs to do. But it is quite robust, and it can take a lot of abuse, if you know what I'm talking about. The navigation can be performed using basic HSI, but we'll use our GPS here for your viewing pleasure as well. I will not perform many checklists on this flight. I just want to, have fun. I'm so used to doing checklists on the other aircraft. I'm just going to fly for the pleasure of it. So let's confirm the condition levers going to flight. We are fully ready. Let's remove this sun visor up to the front here, or maybe this way, because I need to look at the pontoons on the tip of the wings so we can see where we are in terms of water. This is the emergency water drop. If I really need to climb, if I'm too heavy, I can just release it fully as a release handle, but the system will also release the water if you need to release the water, the system will also release the water in a very swift movement. So a lot of liters of water just drop like a bomb. So that's why we call this water bombing, because it really is bombing. The water just drops out very fast. As for fuel, we got half a tank on each side. This is standard operating procedures, and as well as scooping. You should never scoop to the 4,000 liters. Actually, these are pounds. You should never scoop in the 4,000 pounds per tank, because the plane will be just too heavy. Maybe I can do it just once, and you guys will see how heavy it is and how it doesn't want to fly that heavy. But it's really something I don't like to do. Let's place flaps 10 degrees of flaps. That's enough for takeoff. And we're good to go. Let's remove the parking brakes. At this point, my co-pilots will talk to the ATC, but today we're going pirate. Bye, lady. Watch out for the engine. Oh, she left. I don't think she has a head. All right, let's park. Let's taxi to the active runway. The wind is calm. We already checked with the guys. We need to be very careful because this plane can gain a lot of speed while taxiing. We are light now, so the takeoff would be I was too lean back. All right, runway 16. Let's depart. So the weather is not realistic today because today is very cloudy all over the country. But if I placed the real weather, you guys won't be able to see much because the sky would be covered in clouds. So let's open it up a little bit. So again, we're going to take off. Oh, I need to set up my track IR correctly. Stand by. Here we go. So we're going to take off, make a left-hand circuit, and go directly to our fire location at waypoint 6. And we'll have a good look at it and make our plan. That blue bar over there on the right side, that's my mission triggers, and for some reason they trigger the same action multiple times. So there are 6 fire zones in the zone in that area I created, so it creates 6 fill the bucket. Because by default, remember, this mission created by default is for helicopters, so it tells me that I need to fill my Bambi bucket, but this will go away and this bar will disappear. I've already tested this mission. So here we go. Let's take off and enjoy the sound of a turboprop. That's not every day I have this on my channel. Rolling. Airspeed alive. 50 knots. This plane will rotate at about 100 knots. 100, rotate, here we go. Even with water. Positive rate, gear up. I mean, gears coming up. So the pleasures of flying a plane by hand is that you're in control of everything. Trim, you're in control of the yaw, because there's no yaw damper. So the plane will tend to yaw quite a bit more. So I'm just going to level out in the left-hand turn. When we are in downwind, I will turn off the landing lights and clear the plane for flaps. 500 feet per minute as a climb rate is pretty good for this plane, so even with full water you can sustain that pretty well. Flaps up. And let's turn off the landing lights, which are somewhere over here. Alright. So for some reason these switches, they don't... Oh, hold on. We need to trim the plane a little bit better. Let's turn right. It's the reason why you have a co-pilot. Thanks, Dinesh, for the ATC. It would be really cool if I could have like someone online doing some improvised ATC, like you would expect to happen in the VATSIM, but for these types of missions, and even have someone observing on the ground and telling us if we, well, giving us the coordinates, the correct coordinates for the fire, giving us the clearance for the firefighting, for scooping, all that. But that's a multiplayer environment. I don't think Flight Simulator on its own is very multiplayer friendly. I mean, you can fly with other people, but it's very informal, if you know what I mean. People aren't really involved. And if I create this mission in particular, unfortunately it's not possible to go online and have other players see the same thing, so see the same fires, for example. So let's ease up on the throttle here. No need to be wasting our little plane's power, because these are powerful engines for sure, but they're still turboprops. We have to have some limitations. So we're overflying Alcainge, some little city before our flight plan. This is just a reference to know where we are at. That's our scooping area, so that's the Barragem of Marateca right there. And it's a cool little area, very wide. The dam is right there, so that darker, I'll point with the mouse, the dam is right here. So these rivers, 1, 2, I believe 3 rivers, or at least river beds joined together here, and then they become just one, but since they have the dam here, they become a really large lake. I am told, not sure if this is true, that there's a wonderful river beach here. So Dinesh maybe Dinesh will know. So as you can see, the clouds are a bit in the way. I think we can change that if you give me a moment here and bear with me. I need to raise the cloud layer a little bit because it's a bit too low, so you guys will not be seeing much stuff. So right here, let's see if I raise it like, oh, there it is, much better. All right, so we cleared that. So the fire is somewhere in that hill up ahead. And unfortunately, due to Flight Simulator 2024 limitations, we can't see it just now, but as we get closer, like 3 miles away. I'm doing a scout before I do the firefighting bit, Dinesh. I'm at 4,000 feet. But before I do anything, I'm just going to look at the fire itself and see, have an active plan on how to fight, and then I'll descend. So like I was saying, Flight Simulator does not load the objects this far away. As you can see, the trees, they're being drawn over. It's hard to see, but the trees are drawn over distance. So the same thing happened with all the other objects, including customized objects like we're going to have here, which are the fires. But as we go close, I assure you, oh, there it is, there's the fire. Can you see it? So the fire's right there, big thick smoke. And looking at the fire right now, I would say that we'll make yeah, east to west looks like the best options, because from the east there's a slight descent to the west, so it favors us in terms of, well, if something goes wrong and I need to deploy the water in an emergency. So the firefighters in the ground will be fighting this fire alongside, and I just want to define my attack point so that they'll be safe. It don't, you know, these are hundreds of kilograms of water on their heads, and I don't want to hurt anybody. So yeah, it looks like the fire is right here. It's confined to this sort of line here. It's going to be hard to fight it all, but we can do a good job with a few scoops. So we're going to go down to the scooping area, pick up some water, and we'll be right back. We don't need to fly over the fire. In fact, it's not recommended because of the smoke, of course. The engine's intaking smoke, but also because of the visibility. So we're going to make a right-hand turn now, just because I want to avoid the fire area. And we're going to the Marateca Dam to fill in our 2 tanks. Now this plane is, like I said, slow to do everything. Slow to climb, slow to take airspeed, slow to turn as well. But not in scooping. It's actually pretty fast scooping the water. So because it has these huge pumps back there. So there's our dam. Will be almost perfectly lined up to make like a diagonal cross over the lake. And now we are just going to decel. We don't need this airspeed. In order to scoop correctly, we need to be at about 100 knots, even on the water. So these airplanes, they scoop really, really fast, and they take in 4,000 pounds of water, or 8,000 pounds of water, very, very fast. And we're not going to take that much. We're going to take about 3,000 each side, so we can have enough lift and enough weight to take off right after. Otherwise, this will be an impossible mission. Trust me, I've tried. I can do one scoop with full load, and you'll see how hard it is for the plane to climb afterwards. There's one thing I noticed is that my lower pen is a bit dark. I apologize for that. Honestly, I've flown this plane during the day, and I've never been too worried to light up the panel, but I believe it's somewhere behind this control column here, or it's this one here. Maybe it's, yeah, maybe it's this one. Oh, can have a little light on the panels. No, or maybe it's the flood. Nah, it's just these planes are all. I mean, I tried another plane earlier when I was going to fly that Ibiza to Mallorca flight. I tried a couple of lightweight planes in MFS 2024, and they were all messed up. They all had little bugs, and one of the most frequent bugs is instrument lighting. This never worked properly, so maybe this is just the case. All right, let's decrease our speed. Again, we need to maintain somewhere in the vicinity of over 100 knots to have a successful scoop in. As I descend and decelerate, I'll descend my flaps to 10 degrees. And all these adjustments I'm making with the yoke, this is realistic. I've seen a couple of real-life flights on the Canadair to get a feeling about this type of operation, and boy, they need to keep making constant corrections. This is an old plane, to be sure. It's not fly-by-wire. All right, here we go. All right, we're in the water. Let's scoop it in. Watch the glare shield panel over there. See the water going in? Not too slow. All right, 3,000, that's enough. Let's take off now. As you can see, I'm pulling the yoke and the plane doesn't want to go. Now imagine if I had an extra 2,000 pounds, we would stay in this river dam. All right, we're airborne, 500 feet. It's much more sluggish. Look at that, 100 knots, 500 feet per minute, sorry, climbing. Let's turn to the left and look at this sluggish turn. Like I said, it's fast. The only thing fast in this plane is scooping in the water, and if you're not careful, if you go full tanks, I mean, it can be done, but it needs a lot of room. And then when you want to accelerate, the plane will not cooperate. So you need to be careful. Let's just go back to our fires. Like I said, when we're going to make our strike from east to west, so from the right side to the left side in a descent motion, and hopefully we can help put out those fires. Now, if this takes more than 5 or 6 scoops, and if my fuel runs low, I'm going to consider the mission successful. But I'm going to try to put out every fire on that hill if I can. This is what real-life firefighters would do, of course. So as you can see, the plane sways a lot. This is because I'm trying to compensate the turn. I still have my flaps out, so that's why it's also not accelerating that much. But I don't want to take chances climbing without flaps. I prefer to trade climb rate with speed. Speed is not relevant here. Just I want to go up that hill, not against it. So yeah, the graphics do look amazing, Andrew. So the reason why I'm doing this flight today is because the weather is still not peachy in Nuuk. So I'm not going to risk taking my flight out for now. But I'm not going to take that long because I really want to get out of Nuuk. If the weather is going to get is bad now, it's only going to get worse in the next few weeks. So if not now, we'll be stuck in Nuuk forever. Winter's a bit far yet, but it's already having some rough weather. And it's mainly wind, so it's not really a problem with visibility because we're departing, we're not landing. And even landing, we got an ILS system. So yeah, if tomorrow the conditions are the same with strong winds, I'll still make the flight, or tomorrow or the next day. I can't make compromises because of my limited time, but I'll try. There's a lot of sway. The wind's calm, so it's not the wind. It's just me trying to not turn too much. All right, here we go. Now remember what I said in the beginning. We need to go as low as we can because this plane doesn't. I mean, you need to consider momentum because the water will not drop straight down. It will kind of go with you for a moment and then drop, just like you would expect, like with the bomb or something. And you need to take as much water into the fire as you can, so you can't drop too late or too soon, and you definitely need to be a wizard with this scooping thing and dropping. All right, here we go, turning in. Let's try to, and it's really dependent on the type of liquid you carry on. So we're taking water, and water is used to put the fire out, but it can also use to prevent the fire from moving. And if it's retardant, then the strategy will be different. All right, here we go. Over the fire. Let's go outside. Oh, I need to change the camera so we won't go outside. So let's drop the water. Water being dropped. Nice. So we were a little high actually. So let's climb a little bit. Oh, can't see zip. And turn to the left as we go. Yeah, I think oh, look at that. We put out a good chunk of fire. So let's carry on. Second scoop, and this time I'll take a full scoop so you guys can see that I'm not exaggerating when I say taking full scoop is not the way to go all the time. And I'm pretty sure that in real life they do the same. They don't take full scoops or full tanks. I think they don't take full tanks. But we'll give it a go and you'll see how hard it is then to take off afterwards. So flaps in for now for the descent. So our tanks are empty, so we're very light again. I'm taking a look at my fuel consumption as well. So it's this panel right here. So we got 64% fuel. Still a lot to go. I'm just taking a diagonal approach because I want to have as much room as I can for departure. Now, anybody with any kind of experience on these propeller airplanes know that you should never descend while idling. That's why I'm having a fuel, it's right there, this NP warning, because I was on idle. Should never have that, these engines on idle. You can have a flame out very easily. Alright, there we go. So again, as we decelerate towards the water, I'll bring the flaps to 10 degrees. Not right now because we'll be overspeeding. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's just have the plane drop. We're in the water, scooping in. Oh, it's disarmed. Hold on. Something happened here. Alright, here we go. Ooh. Alright, now scooping in. Alright, tanks full. And now you'll see why this is not a good idea. So see, watch the speedometer. It's not accelerating and we're bumping over the water. Still trying. It just doesn't want to take off. 100 knots, and here we go. Whew. That's scary, man. That's very scary. And I bet these guys on the Canadair, the real life Canadairs, they go through this as well. I can only imagine that if you're going... Oh, this is whistle. This is a stall warning. It's really cool. It's old school stall warning. Like I was saying, I bet in real life they also don't take a full load every time, especially if they go into altitude, because the engines would just be I mean, it's just so much power required, and the plane is being affected by the water. The water acts like a dragging effect, so it creates drag on the fuselage. And if you're too heavy, you also can't maneuver that well. I mean, look at this. Look at this turn. It just takes awful lot of time to turn. So yeah, it's very scary. And you can see now that I'm pushing the engines to their limits. That ITT is for temperature, so they're running hot. And I really need to run them that hot because I'm in the limit of. I mean, if I pull my stick, you'll hear the stall warning. Well, maybe not now because I'm above 100 knots, but as we are in the threshold of 100 knots, we will be on the threshold of stalling. Yeah, the plane's great, Andrew. And now for your viewing pleasure, I'm now going to shoot it from the rear end so you guys can see the scooping. Well, not the scooping, the dropping and then the scooping. So yeah, you can also see how how you need to maneuver the flight controls because it's constantly wanting to sway and wanting to sink. So the Canadair CL-415, as I've said in the beginning, is one of the most prolific airplanes used in firefighting. It's an amphibious aircraft, of course. It can land on water or on the ground. The landing gear is pretty cool. It sticks out from the mid fuselage. It's not underneath the plane like most planes have because it needs that space to have the scoop and the doors. And as we fly over the fires, you will see those doors opening and dropping the water, which is a pretty sight. Unfortunately, what's not pretty is what these planes are fighting against. So the fires, they rage on, and forest fires especially, they can be very serious and they can spread very quickly. So these planes, they perform a very important role in firefighting. It's arguable to say if they can actually put out every single fire out there, but they can certainly help. They don't replace the ground firefighters, but they certainly are a good complement. Alright, on the outside view, it's going to be a bit hard to aim, but I'm just going to use the internal view for a moment to aim. Actually, we're pretty low, so the plane's struggling a lot to climb. That's why, because it's so freaking heavy. I'm not gonna make any more 8,000 pounds scooping in because it's just too taxing on the plane. Alright, let's turn in. A very slow turn in. We don't want to miss the fire area. So we're gonna make a couple of more scoops in hopes that we can put out this fire, but if we don't, I'll call it a mission accomplished. I mean, these planes are not going to put out the fires fully. They're just going to perform it in such a way that they help a lot. This looks like a good line. Alright, stand by for the drop. Here we go. And dropping. Whoo! Can't see zip, but you can see the water dropping in. Alright, another good chunk of fire put out. And as you can see, there was so much weight, the plane just wants to climb once it's empty. Oh, another fire put out. Cool. So we're down to, I would say, one single line of fire. Yeah, more or less. Maybe we can put it out. We'll see. By the way, I just want to show you the doors beneath the plane. So let me film the belly of the plane here. And look at this, the doors opening. So you can see it? Can you see it? And as the full load of the water drops out, they close in. And these two boxes here, these are the scoops. So these are the ones that suck the water in. The other pans are for the Bombardier. The Bomber not the Bombardier. Bombardier is the brand. But the Bomber aspect of the water, they just drop from those two doors on each side. So 8 doors in total. That corresponds with the same. I would say these are like channels. So 4 channels for water dropping. Alright, let's reduce our thrust here. I'm going to collect the flaps. This is a flap warning because I was extending instead of retracting. My bad. I saw a video once, I believe it was from Canada, firefighting in Canada, where the pilots were just constantly hearing the stall warning, constantly. Even when scooping, they would get wee, wee, wee. And I think that's, by the way, this is the gauge we use to confirm if we are in the stall profile and try to recover the plane, of course. And if nothing works, then we just pull that big red lever over there and just dump the water. Here we go. I think I'll take this chance here, not going all the way to the left side. A lot of trees here, but very open waterbed. Right, deploy the flaps. This is a much better approach than the previous one, by the way. Alright, the pumps are ready. Knees weak, arms are ready. Knees weak, arms are heavy. That's what I meant to say. Alright, scooping the water. Again, we're not going to take a full scoop. And good enough. Full throttle. Ooh. By the way, if you guys want to look from the outside, you can see the plane skipping the water. Alright. You see how easier, not easy, but how easier I can fly, not having that extra 2,000 pounds of water. There's another, I think there are 2 more amphibious planes on MFS 2024, and they all suffer from this jumping jack thing. I think, yeah, the planes do tend to you know, skip the water if there's enough waves in it, but it's such a calm lake, I think it's a bit overreacting. By the way, there's another extra point to land if we need to, the highway, if we just really need to land. There's some power cables there and down there though, so that's maybe a more risky one than just ditching into the water. Alright, one more try. I think we'll do 2 more scoop. We still got a lot of fuel though. I just don't want to extend the live stream too much because this can get boring really fast. And just like before, I'll do a third person, so you guys can see it happening. It's much more interesting than from the cockpit. It's my honest belief that these planes could already have like sort of a helping system for the pilots to understand where the water may end up. But then as I think about it, even if there's a computer on board and can calculate the trajectory, it's kind of unpredictable, right? Because of the winds, because of the, you know, the fires themselves are a bit unpredictable, and you might have to shift your trajectories a little bit, or maybe you're in a turn. A lot of things can go wrong if you're trying to create a system to help you predict where the water will land. And I think I've seen a lot of videos. I think the water tends to evaporate quite a bit if you try to, you know, be too calculated with your dropping. So you might as well just drop it where it can. And if you saturate the area with water, then that's good enough for the firefighters on the ground to continue combating the fire in a relative safety, right? So no need to be precise. So I think this is why the most of these planes, at least the ones that I know, don't have like a prediction computer or something like that, or an aiming sight, if you want, even if electronic one. However, in some missions here in Flight Simulator, there are some firefighting, also some agricultural pulverizing missions. They do give you like a window to enter, like a small window to enter, and then you see your actions on the ground with a little map being painted. That helps quite a bit, I think. But you know, in real life that doesn't happen. Pilots just go with instinct. They go with training, lots of training. It's very demanding training for firefighting in these kinds of planes. And yeah, aside from those ugly fires over there, this is a beautiful scenery, Andrew. You're right. Portugal can be a very beautiful place. And I think Dinesh lives in this area, so congrats. It's a beautiful place to live in. Here we go, turning in. We don't longer need to climb, so retracting the flaps. This will also help us with speed if we need to get out of dodge. So let's put it on the rear perspective. Maybe a little like this, so the water doesn't go in the front of the camera. Oh, skipping. Alright, there we go. Get ready. And dropping. Now. I think we missed. Unfortunately. Because you wonder if, I mean, if it's, oh, there was one put out at least. You keep wondering if you drop the water continuously, right? It will be like a line, that you're drawing a line on the ground with the water. That's not the case. The big bulk of water will be dropped in the first opening, and then the water will flow, and it will create like a line of water, but it's becoming smaller and smaller. So it's like a teardrop shape, and this happens in real life as well. The big bulk of water will be on the initial drop, and then the water, as the water flows, it loses strength and it will become like weaker. So it's not a real line of water, it's more like a bombardment of water. So the big chunk of water will be dropping the first few seconds, and then I would say the first first or second, and then the rest is just like less and less water, or at least weaker water. Alright, let's try to make another approach, not bouncing over the water again, because that's really unpleasant. Our fuel is still going. We still haven't even spent half of the fuel. Unlike the MH60 earlier in the other flight, where we were spending fuel like crazy. Speaking of the MH60, I might do a search and rescue mission with it soon, but I need to go back to the airliners before that. Alright, here we go. Flaps 5, or no, sorry, flaps 10 I mean. Really steep descent. But I'm trying to keep the speed while trying to take as much water as I can so I have room to scoop in. Sometimes that switch goes to off and I need to pull it up. That's why I'm looking at it. As we touch the water, if I don't time it correctly, I might just, the switch might just go off for some reason. Alright, let's scoop it in. See, the switch just turned off. Alright, scooping the water now. By the way, you can see the pontoon touching the water there. Alright, 3,000, that's enough. Scoops are back in. And now we're jumping jacks again. Come on. You just need to reach those 100 knots there. If you reach them, then you're good to go. Alright, we're airborne. So each 500 feet per minute is on a climb. It's funny because 500 feet per minute is also the optimum climb for a Cessna 172. This is something I memorized from my early days flying smaller planes. I mean, it's not rule book, it depends on weights, but it's kind of like the sweet spot. You always try to go on a climb or a descent is always 500 feet. 500 feet per minute is like a magic number for lightweight planes and even helicopters. It's like that descent rate for an helicopter. You try not to exceed 500 feet per minute descending, so you don't want to get a VRS event. So you try to descend as smooth as you can. So this will be probably our last bomb, our last dump. We'll see if we can get in line with those fires. Maybe we can do an extra one, but I'm not planning on doing that. I still have the fuel though. I just don't know how tired you guys are from watching this. So beautiful. You got a beautiful city here, a beautiful area here, Dinesh. So Dinesh is our Lima Papa Charlie Bravo spotter. I think you guys only have like a season to watch these planes when it's unfortunately forest fire season in that airfield, but it's a very cool airfield. I'll give you that. Lots of room, and I would love to learn flying on a flight school here. So again, thank you guys for watching. Andrew, Dinesh from LPCB. I've seen also Jose from Airport Wings, and that's it. You guys are probably the one of the three watching. So again, I'm going to make a right to left approach. Thank you, Jose. Always appreciate your company. Ha! Yeah, the scenery looks awesome. Plain sound. This never gets old, right? Turboprops, they never get old. I really wish I had the ATR. I think I would fly regularly the ATR, even if doing some of those Swift Air cargo missions to Madeira or something. But unfortunately, there's no I mean, there is one ATR from Asobo, but it's you can only buy it from this very expensive package called the Aviator package. That costs me 109 euros. 109 euros. That's a lot of money. I can't afford all planes, of course, so that's out of the question for now. But I really love to be flying the ATR for sure. So let's line up our tail with the cockpits somewhere over here. All right, so we can have a good aiming spot. Honestly, I don't like flying on third party or third person view, but it's for your viewing pleasure. I'll do anything for you guys. All right, let's use the rudder here to turn in. It's what we call a coordinated turn. And I think you can't make it better line up than this. Here we go. Let's see if we can put out all the fires. That would be nice. Let's go down. Flaps up. Here we go. Wish me luck. And I think it was too soon. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we didn't hit that one. We got most of them though. It's just that little puff there. All right, one more scoop. Hope it's the last one, because this can get really boring for you guys, I bet. Wow. Oh, it's just I keep pulling my chair back. That's why I'm going all the way up. This is all right. This is good. So let's descend again. System's ready for the scoop. Let's turn this thing back on. Oh, by the way, you need to program a couple of switches. So like this button here, but you can also press this button here. So I suppose it's for the to drop the water. So I suppose it's for the crew in case this button doesn't work. There's another button like that on the right side. But if this button doesn't work, they can press that one, or they can just pull the red lever. Redundancy. So quite common in aviation world. So again, we'll take 6,000 pounds of water. No need to make it a full load, and then hopefully we will put out those fires and go home. Famous last words, right? All right, coming in a bit too fast, so I won't deploy flaps for now, because I don't want to lose them. Skimming the trees, whoop. All right, flaps 5. I keep saying flaps 5, flaps 10. And touching the water. Little to the left on the rudder. Let's scoop in the water. Oh, here we go again. Jumping jacks. It's good enough water. Let's depart. It's a bit exaggerated, just jumping up and down. Here we go. Let's listen to the stall warning. I always love this sound. Hey, wee. Alright, airborne again. Hopefully for our last water dump. Remember guys, I'm not flying with checklists or performance charts, but that's not the way to do it. This is just for fun today. You know me, you know this channel, you've seen me flying before. I don't do VFR with study level airplanes. Never do. So this is just for fun. This is just because I can't fly out of Nuuk Airfield today because of the weather conditions. But as soon as that weather clears, I'll go back to my regular airliners and I will go back to following procedures as they go. Because that's just the way to go. This is a simulator. It's not really a shooting or a pew pew game. This is the fun resides in study level aircraft when you follow the procedures and follow the checklist. That's what's all about. This will not replace real life flying, of course. This will not teach pilots how to fly, but it will certainly teach them how to fly with procedures. So follow procedures. But in order to learn to fly, there's a lot more to it than just having Flight Simulator at home. We all know this. I'm not telling you anything new. So while we're flying, I'll remind you that I have a Flight Sim Labs A321neo to give away. Still have it. If you guys want one of those amazing aircraft valued at 70 plus euros, the A321neo from FS Labs is available for Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. With the key I'm giving away, you can have either 2020 or 2024 or both. So imagine you have 2020, you can install it on your 2020, and then once you migrate to 2024, you can also install it. So it's a cool key. I mean, it's the same if you buy it, but... Oh, Andrew, how was golf today? Because I know you were going to play, did you? Alright, turning to the fire area. Just that little puff to handle. Oh, too bad, Andrew, too bad. It's not raining here, but it will be in a moment when I drop my water. Giggity. Alright, I will not climb any further, so flaps in. I want to try to go as low as I can. And I'm going to try to reduce speed, so maybe I can just bombard it really on the fire itself. Let's see if I can do that. Without hitting the floor, of course. So getting ready to bomb. Let's just go a little more to the right. Here we go. For your viewing pleasure. I'm going to try to go as low as I can. And not yet dropping the water. I think we got it, guys. Let's climb up. Right on the money. Whoa, that was right on the money. Do you guys see that? That was amazing, even for me. Alright, let's go home. Mission accomplished, I suppose. No fires. We're gonna make a left-hand turn. You can hear or you cannot hear the props, Andrew? Let's not go up too up. We don't need to go away. I think there's no fires in there, back there. Let's go back to Castelbranc Airfield. turn back to the routes. We can't see the fire area, but I think we got them all. You know, that's a perfect day, I would say, for firefighting, if that ever happened. And yeah, look at that, no fires. We really put out the fires entirely. Only in video games, unfortunately. So at this time we would just contact the firefighters and tell them that we are RTB at this moment. RTB stands for return to base. I once heard, I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but I once heard a pilot saying RTA, which may stand for return to airfield or return to airport or return to aerodrome. I don't even know if that term exists, but I really did hear the pilot saying that. Alright, so we are descending ever so slightly, accelerating as well. So mission accomplished. There were a lot of fires put out. I'm just going to open the mission maker menu here just to confirm everything's done. Yeah, it's clear, so we've done everything there was to be done on this mission. So all we got left is just fly back home. This is our Miltech dam where we scoop the water in. And I created this mission so it can hear, so we can have like a quick mission, so we don't have many hours just flying in and out. But in real life, these planes are stationed all over our country of Portugal, and sometimes they need to go to different regions because there's a need there, and they'll have to fly for hours just to line up, you know, to join the ranks. So don't expect this to be like this in real life. It's never like this, or most likely it won't be like this in real life. We can see the airfield up ahead. It's right there. Let me zoom in for you guys. So it's almost a straight-in approach for us. We'll just contact the airfield as usual. We can also turn off our scoopers. We no longer be needing them. And as we descend, we would run some checklists. This is a very sturdy plane. It can land on very small airfields, unprepared airfields even, and on water, of course. So I believe it's either in Greece or in Turkey. They operate from water areas, so they have like seaports. Not always, but if needed, they can operate out of seaports. That's pretty cool for these types of operations. If there's a lot of rivers or a lot of lakes, they can be stationed at that lake. It floats like a boat, so it can remain on those lakes, operate, and then if needed, they can land on the base because they can deploy the gear. From what I've heard, that may be wrong, maybe someone watching this can clarify it. I don't think these can operate with salt water that well, because you know salt is a very nasty corrosive thing for metal, for aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you're watching. So I don't think they operate with salt water. Or if they do, they don't do it regularly. They mostly use fresh water. That's something I don't like to see. It looks like what's it called? A mining facility. Looks like it. Maybe it's not, but it looks like a mining facility. Alright, we're visual. Let's go flaps. We're a bit too fast, so let's descend our nose a little bit. So we can go lower and deploy our flaps. Spear veer far flying. And it's so weird to do this without autopilot, without, you know, ATC and all that. So weird. Alright, let's go flaps then. Gear down. Gear coming down. Three green. Alright, here we go. Oh, that was smooth. Reversers. Oh. Idle. I don't know why I got that message, because it wasn't on the detent. No, don't really know what happened there. There is a detent there though. Alright. Let's make a little turn here. Can we make a turn on this plane? This runway is a bit narrow, but we did it. More or less. We took some grass there. If I approach slower and with more flaps, I would definitely be able to exit on the Bravo taxiway over there. But this is not a regular plane for me, so forgive me if I don't know its performance and its limits. So this is taxiway Bravo here. That's an hangar there. But we are going to go for the taxi. Sorry, the apron over there next to the firefighters. There's our marshal there. I see you. Let's turn in. And whoa, that was very close. This is for general aviation, so most likely. Alright, parking brake set. Done. Alright, shutting down the engines. Condition levers. Bring it to idle and then cut off. Beautiful. Alright, let's shut down everything. So first of all, let's turn off the inverters. This one doesn't want to be turned off. Alright. Now let's turn off every single light. Fuel pressure as well. Turn off our anti-ice systems. They were not necessary today, but we leave it at normal. Alright. And now, of course, the generators to off. There should be a fault item here because generators aren't working anymore. But anyway, we could turn on the external power, but we won't. We shut down left bearing, right bearing, and the plane is turned off. All right, that's it. We are safe and sound. This was a pretty cool mission. I'm not sponsored, but I have to thank Miltech for developing this mission creator, because it enables us to do a lot of different missions, such as the one we did today, firefighting, but we can also do search and rescue, interception, and evac, I think, medical evacuation. This is designed mostly for the Miltech MH60, but you can use any aircraft as long as it's capable of doing the mission. Like firefighting, you need, of course, a scooper like this one. I also have the Fireboss, so I might do a video in the future with the Fireboss, not just the Canadair. But today was the Canadair as the iconic plane it is. I hope you guys enjoy. This is a little different, a little quicker as well, or a little less convoluted with less stuff going on. We don't use ATC, we don't use traffic, so simplified, but at the same time still fun and as realistic as it's humanly possible with someone like me that not only am I not a pilot, but I'm not a firefighter, firefighting pilot. So the plane may look ugly, but it's beautiful to my eyes. I love the Canadair 415. If you guys have the flight simulator 2020, I think, yeah, 2020, there's a version of this airplane available to purchase. It's on the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. For the 2024, I believe the plane is also available to purchase. I'm not sure, but it's definitely available in the premium edition as a default aircraft, and I think it's pretty cool. The same with the Fireboss, by the way. So, guys, thank you for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time, let's get out a nuke. Let's hope we can get out a nuke. So, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Jose, of course. Thank you. Oh, Mirsha. Hello, Mirsha. Nice to see you. No problem, Mirsha. Whenever you can watch the replay if you wish. So this was the Canadair C415 fighting fires, and today went pretty smooth. We did put out all the fires, so that's cool. I hope to see you guys next time. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your beautiful Sunday. Bye-bye.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody.